Samuel, an outstanding black IT engineer, spent 15 years building his career at TechSphere Solutions, a leading tech corporation with high demands for skills and abilities. As one of the very few black employees who were hired and promoted within the company, Samuel not only faced professional challenges, but also had to battle deep-rooted prejudice within the workplace. From his first days at the company, Samuel noticed the skeptical glances from his colleagues. Some of them didn't believe that a black engineer could meet the standards set by the company. Instead of letting the doubt discourage him, Samuel decided to prove his abilities through action. He worked harder than anyone else, unafraid to tackle the most difficult tasks. His focus, perseverance, and exceptional talent quickly caught the attention of the leadership team. Samuel stood out for his problem-solving skills and creative thinking. During a critical project related to system security, his team was stuck as the system was constantly being breached. Samuel, with his sharp analytical abilities, discovered a loophole that no one else had noticed. His solution not only saved the project, but also saved the company millions of dollars. From that point on, Samuel was highly regarded and continuously given key projects. He became an essential figure within the team, the person both colleagues and leaders turned to whenever there was a problem to solve. But this success didn't come easily. Samuel understood that due to his skin color, he had to work twice as hard and bear the pressure of being perfect all the time. A single mistake could ruin everything he had worked so hard to achieve. Even with many accomplishments and career advancement, Samuel never forgot the difficult journey that led him to this position. He recalled his childhood days when his father, a simple laborer, once said, "Samuel, you must be better than all of them. As a black person, you will always have to prove that you deserve it. Work not just for yourself, but for people like you." These teachings became Samuel's guiding principles throughout his career. Despite standing among outstanding colleagues from all over the world, he always held his head high, confident that he was no less than anyone else. Samuel was not only distinguished by his talent, but also by his perseverance and sense of responsibility. He was often the first to arrive at the office and the last to leave. He constantly sought to learn new technologies and improve his skills so as not to be left behind. However, Samuel's efforts were not always immediately recognized. There were times when he felt isolated in meetings because his ideas were not heard. But instead of getting angry or withdrawing, Samuel patiently built trust by letting his work results speak for themselves. Samuel's success not only brought pride to himself, but also inspired those around him. He became a source of inspiration for younger people, especially black engineers, who often faced similar prejudices. Samuel always reminded them, success is not far-fetched. Don't let your skin color be the reason others underestimate you. Make it the reason to prove they were wrong. Besides his work, Samuel also participated in many community activities, supporting technology scholarship programs for young people of color from disadvantaged backgrounds. He believed that his efforts were not just for his personal career, but for the next generation, so they could step into the tech world with confidence and the belief that they truly deserved it. Samuel was not only an excellent IT engineer, but also a man who cherished the value of family. He had a small, happy family with his wife, who always stood by him, supporting him through every challenge life threw at him. She was not only his partner, but also his motivator, giving him strength whenever Samuel felt defeated. After long working days, his wife's encouraging gaze always reminded him that every effort he made was for this small family. In Samuel's heart, his father, a simple laborer, was always a model of resilience and self-respect. His father often shared the difficulties he faced in times filled with discrimination and how he always maintained his dignity by keeping his head high. Once, when Samuel was young, his father said, "Samuel, they can take away your opportunities, but they can't take away your self-respect. As long as you hold your head high and do your best, no one can deny your worth. These teachings were deeply ingrained in Samuel's mind, becoming a powerful driving force that helped him overcome prejudice in the workplace. Every time he felt discouraged by skeptical glances or challenges at work, he always remembered his father standing firm in the face of adversity, never bowing to anyone. Although Samuel achieved many successes in his career, his life was not without difficulties. In addition to the pressure at TechSphere Solutions, where he had to work twice as hard to prove himself, Samuel also had to face a silent but persistent battle: diabetes. Every day, Samuel had to inject insulin to maintain his health, a reminder that his time and strength were not limitless. But instead of letting this illness discourage him, Samuel saw it as another challenge he had to overcome, just like the other difficulties in his life. He also understood that, no matter how much pressure he faced, his family was where he found comfort and motivation. On evenings when he returned home, seeing his wife smile and recalling the lessons from his father, Samuel realized, every day I can keep trying is a day I can overcome adversity. Samuel always carried with him his father's lesson: keep your head high in the face of adversity. This not only helped him remain resilient through challenges at work, but also gave him the strength to fight his illness and the pressures in life. Family was Samuel's greatest source of strength. His wife, always supporting him, helped him maintain his spirit during the toughest times, while his father was the guiding light, imparting the mental strength to overcome every obstacle. Samuel knew that success didn't only come from individual effort, but also from the values passed down by his family. He believed, even if the world tries to make me small, my family will always remind me how great and deserving I am. Samuel was at the peak of his career, having devoted 15 years to TechSphere Solutions, when one day, everything suddenly collapsed. He received a termination notice from the company's leadership due to staff reduction. Although the reason given seemed objective, Samuel knew that this decision was unjust and partially influenced by his skin color and age. In a work environment where he had to work twice as hard to prove himself, this event felt like a direct blow to his self-esteem. Despite feeling outraged and dissatisfied, Samuel had no right to protest. He had no choice but to accept the meager severance and leave in silence, leaving behind the years of dedicated work that were not properly recognized. As Samuel struggled with the shock of losing his job, another devastating piece of news came. His father had suffered a stroke and had to be hospitalized urgently. The father Samuel had always respected, the one who taught him to live with his head held high and to be resilient in the face of adversity, was now fighting for his life. This news nearly broke Samuel. The high cost of medical treatment, combined with the fact that Samuel had just lost his primary source of income, put his family in an extremely difficult situation. The financial pressure, his father's illness, and the instability in his career made Samuel feel like his life was completely out of control. Everything seemed to push him to the edge. As if things weren't bad enough, Samuel also had to contend with his own severe diabetes. Every day he had to inject insulin to stay alive. But now, taking care of his health had become a burden that was hard to maintain. The medical expenses weighed heavily on Samuel, gradually eroding both his mental and physical strength. Each morning, he woke up feeling hopeless. The image of his father lying in a hospital bed, unpaid bills, and the reality that he had lost the job he had been committed to for 15 years left Samuel paralyzed. He began to question himself. What did I do wrong? Why is life treating me like this? There were moments when the thought of giving up crossed his mind. Samuel felt like he was at the lowest point of his life, where the light of hope seemed to have completely extinguished. In his darkest moment, Samuel found a glimmer of light from his small family. His wife, the one who had always stood by him through every high and low, refused to let him fall. One evening, she said to him with a heartfelt voice, "Samuel, I know everything is difficult, but you are the one we depend on. You have overcome so many challenges in life to stop here. Stand up for Dad, for me, and for yourself." Her words awakened Samuel from his dazed state. He remembered his father, who had taught him how to hold his head high in the face of adversity. He told himself, "If my father could stand strong in the face of greater injustices, then I can overcome this." Although he knew the journey ahead would not be easy, Samuel decided not to let himself drown in failure. He started searching for new jobs, hoping to start over. However, finding a job at the age of 45, especially with his skin color, became an unexpected challenge. After a series of rejections, Samuel realized that he needed to change his approach in order to survive. With encouragement from his family, Samuel decided to take a temporary job, driving for a ride-hailing service. This was not the job he had hoped for, but it was the only one that could help him earn money to support his family and pay for his father's medical bills. Samuel's life, once that of an outstanding IT engineer, now turned a new page full of challenges and no less harsh. But for him, this was the only way to keep his family afloat and overcome adversity. In his darkest days, Samuel sat quietly in his small room, his eyes heavy with negative thoughts. He felt like he had lost everything: his job, his self-respect, and even his ability to take care of his family. The thought of giving up everything crossed his mind, like a dangerous yet alluring whisper. But at that moment, his wife's voice echoed in his mind. She had always been there for him, not just sharing the joys, but also being his pillar during the toughest times. One evening, she took his hand and said, "Samuel, I know you're in pain, but you are the strongest person I've ever known. You've overcome greater challenges than this. Stand up for me, for Dad, and for yourself." Her words acted like a gust of wind, rekindling the small flame still left within Samuel. He remembered the image of his father, a man who had lived a life full of hardship but never succumbed. His father's words echoed in his mind. "You may lose everything, but never lose your self-respect. Keep your head high and move forward. That is how you prove your worth." Samuel realized that, even if the world turned its back on him, his family was the reason for him to keep going. He decided to continue living not just for himself, but for the people who loved him. Samuel once hoped that, with 15 years of experience in the IT field, finding a new job would not be too difficult. However, he quickly realized the harsh reality. His age and skin color had become invisible barriers. Recruiters often sought young, dynamic candidates or prioritized individuals who fit the image of their brand. After months of submitting applications, attending interviews, and receiving countless rejection emails, Samuel gradually felt lost. The financial pressure weighed heavily on him as his father's medical bills remained unpaid. His diabetes required continuous treatment, and his family still needed to meet daily expenses. Despite the damage to his self-esteem, Samuel understood that he could not let personal pride harm his family. He decided to apply for a job as a ride-hailing driver, a job he had once seen as temporary, but now the only option to make a living. From the very first day as a driver, Samuel realized that the job was not as simple as he had imagined. He had to learn how to use the coordinating app, familiarize himself with the complex city routes, and deal with passengers of diverse personalities. Every day, Samuel worked from early morning to late evening, facing traffic jams, harsh weather, and invisible pressures from the app's rating system. There were days when Samuel's income was so meager that he began to doubt his decision. He felt like he had lost his position as an IT engineer now just a driver dependent on technology he had once created. The thought of giving up kept appearing in his mind. I've worked hard my whole life, and this is what I get. Despite the difficulties, Samuel kept in mind the reason he had started this job: his family. One evening, after a long, tiring day, his wife gently said, "Samuel, I know you feel you don't deserve this job, but to me, you are the strongest man I've ever known. No matter what you do, as long as it's for our family, me and the kids will always be proud of you." Her words helped Samuel remember his true purpose. Being a driver was not a failure, but a way to protect his loved ones during this tough time. He decided to set aside his embarrassment and focus on doing the best he could. Gradually, Samuel began to master the job. He memorized the routes, learned tips to optimize time, and improved his communication skills with customers. The discipline and dedication that had helped him succeed in IT became his strengths in this new job. In just a few months, Samuel went from being a clumsy new driver to becoming one of the highest-rated drivers on the app. He received many positive reviews from customers and realized that this job not only helped him earn money, but also taught him valuable skills and lessons. As an IT engineer, Samuel couldn't help but notice the limitations in the app he was using. He realized the navigation system was not optimized, causing drivers to waste time and fuel. With his analytical and creative mindset, Samuel began to think about how to improve this system. On days with fewer passengers, Samuel spent time researching and developing ideas for a smart navigation app, one that not only helped drivers optimize their routes, but also provided traffic updates, nearby parking spots, and tips for reducing operational costs. He shared the idea with a few fellow drivers, and they quickly recognized its potential. This app not only helped Samuel, but also brought practical value to the entire driving community. Looking back on his journey, Samuel understood that even after enduring some of the hardest times, he had found new meaning in life. From an IT engineer, he became a dedicated driver, and now he was on the path to developing a technological product that could change the lives of many people. Samuel told himself, "It doesn't matter where I start over. What matters is that I always move forward. The one thing I can never give up on is my self-respect and my desire to improve myself." Samuel entered the ride-hailing job with the mindset of someone who had achieved many accomplishments, but now he had to start over from scratch. The first days were far from easy. He had to get used to the complex routes in the city, many of which he had never been to before. The roads were often congested. The maps didn't always guide him accurately, and the waiting time for passengers consumed more of his energy than he had expected. On top of that, he had to deal with difficult passengers. Some complained about the pickup time, others about the fare, and some even showed disrespect. For Samuel, each complaint felt like a stab to his self-esteem, reminding him that he had left behind his position as an outstanding IT engineer to do a job that many people considered beneath him. Every working day, Samuel faced a difficult equation: vehicle operating costs, waiting time, and meager earnings. Many days, the money he earned seemed insignificant compared to the effort he put in. His packed schedule left him with no time to rest, and his diabetes became harder to control due to the mental and physical strain. There were nights when Samuel sat alone in his car, overwhelmed with fatigue and discouragement. The thought of giving up was always present in his mind. What am I doing here? Why do I have to endure all this? I once had a proud career. How did I end up in this situation? Despite facing so many difficulties, Samuel did not allow himself to give up. Every time he felt like quitting, the images of his wife and father would appear in his mind. He remembered his wife's encouragement. "Samuel, we don't need perfection, we just need you. No matter what you do, as long as it's for the family, we will always be proud of you." Those words gave Samuel the strength he needed. He told himself, I may be tired, but I can't stop. My family needs me, and I can't let them down. With perseverance and a willingness to learn, Samuel began improving his skills. He spent time studying the routes, learning how to handle difficult customer situations professionally. Gradually, he became more proficient in optimizing time and routes, which helped increase his earnings and reduce stress in his work. Samuel also found small joy in conversations with friendly passengers. Some even shared their stories with him, helping him realize that everyone has their own struggles. This made Samuel feel less lonely and gave him extra motivation to keep going. Gradually, Samuel began to master the ride-hailing job. From the early days of being unfamiliar with the routes, he became proficient in navigation, predicting traffic conditions, and handling difficult situations. His perseverance and professionalism not only helped Samuel improve his income, but also earned him high praise from both customers and colleagues. However, with his IT engineer mindset, he couldn't overlook the flaws in the navigation system he used every day. He noticed that the suggested routes were often not optimized, causing drivers to waste time and fuel. Additionally, the app lacked features for income management and scheduling, which Samuel believed would greatly benefit the driver community. Not allowing these limitations to hinder him, Samuel decided to develop his own smart navigation app. By day, he drove to make a living, and by night, he worked tirelessly coding and researching optimization solutions. He integrated real-time traffic prediction into his app, providing the most efficient route suggestions, while also adding income management features and performance tracking. Initially, Samuel tested the app on himself, and the results exceeded expectations. Travel time decreased, his income increased, and he found the job became easier. Recognizing its great potential, he began sharing the app with fellow drivers. The app quickly spread, becoming an essential tool for many drivers, helping them save time, reduce stress, and work more efficiently. News of Samuel's app gradually spread and caught the attention of TechSphere Solutions, his former company. Recognizing the product's potential, the company reached out to Samuel, inviting him to collaborate in expanding the app on a larger scale. This offer was not only an opportunity for Samuel to return to the IT industry, but also a recognition of his efforts and talents. From a ride-hailing driver who faced numerous difficulties, Samuel had now become the creator of a tool that changed the lives of thousands of drivers, while reclaiming his position in the tech industry with immense pride and confidence. He understood that every challenge, no matter how tough, could become an opportunity if you never stop trying and innovating. The app Samuel developed quickly received an enthusiastic reception from the driver community. Initially, he only shared it with a few close colleagues, those who were also struggling with similar difficulties. When they tested the app, the results far exceeded expectations. The optimized routes helped them significantly reduce travel time and fuel costs. The traffic prediction feature and parking spot suggestions also helped alleviate their daily work stress. Before long, praise began to spread from driver to driver, and Samuel's app quickly became an indispensable tool for many. The positive feedback from his colleagues was not only a form of encouragement, but also a strong morale booster for Samuel. He had once felt that being a driver was a step backward, a necessary job for survival. But now he was beginning to realize that every experience in life, no matter how difficult, could be material for creating value if you knew how to leverage it. With every driver his app helped, Samuel felt like he had made their lives a little easier, a little less stressful. This gave him a deep sense of meaning in what he was doing, far beyond the initial goal of just making a living and covering expenses. Samuel also saw the change in how his colleagues viewed him. They no longer saw him as just another driver among thousands on the app, but as a leader, someone who created a tool that helped improve their daily work. One driver even said to him, "Samuel, You not only help us save time, but also give us the confidence that we can work better and smarter. You're a game changer." These words deeply moved Samuel because he knew that his efforts were not only bringing tangible value, but also uplifting the spirits of those around him. Samuel's app not only gained support from the driver community, but also caught the attention of TechSphere Solutions, his former company. The app's groundbreaking features and practical value were quickly recognized by the company's research and development team. They realized that Samuel's product was not only a useful tool for drivers, but also had the potential for widespread application in the transportation and logistics industry, a rapidly growing field. One day, Samuel received an unexpected call from the headquarters of TechSphere Solutions. On the other end of the line was a familiar voice, no longer distant, but filled with respect. The company representative said, "Samuel, your app has truly impressed us. This is a creative solution with significant practical value. We would like to invite you back in a research and development role to help us scale this app on a larger level." This offer surprised and conflicted Samuel. The recognition from his former company came late, but it was still a moral victory for Samuel. He had left TechSphere Solutions in frustration and with a sense of injustice. He recalled the stressful days when his efforts were sometimes dismissed simply because of his skin color and underlying prejudices. Now that he had proven his worth, should he return to the company that once held him back, or continue his independent journey that he had built from scratch? Samuel spent a few days carefully considering his decision. On one hand, he realized that returning to TechSphere Solutions would provide him with access to greater resources, helping him expand his app on a global scale. It was also a way for him to change the company from within, improve its culture, and prove that a person's worth cannot be denied because of prejudice. On the other hand, he was concerned that going back would force him to face the pressures and unfriendly environment he had worked so hard to escape. In a moment of reflection, Samuel remembered what his father once told him. Sometimes, the best way to overcome injustice is not to avoid it, but to face it and change it from within. Samuel decided to return to TechSphere Solutions, but this time, he was no longer an employee under someone else's control. He was a leader of the research and development team, a higher position that matched his talent and efforts. This decision was not only a way to restore his career, but also an opportunity to create real changes from within, helping to build a fairer and more transparent work environment. As soon as he took the new position, Samuel began to develop his smart navigation app on a large scale. He didn't just focus on improving the technology, but also emphasized building a diverse and inclusive team. He recruited talents from various backgrounds, people who had previously been overlooked due to societal prejudices, giving them the chance to prove their abilities. Samuel often told his team, "I know what it feels like to be underestimated, and here, I will make sure everyone is seen for their true worth." Under Samuel's leadership, the app development project made great strides. The navigation technology was enhanced with more advanced features, not only supporting drivers, but also optimizing the operations of the entire transportation industry. The app quickly became one of the flagship products of TechSphere Solutions, launched globally, benefiting millions of users. But Samuel didn't stop there. He used his position to advocate for fair policies within the company. He proposed training and skill development programs for employees, especially those from minority communities. He also encouraged senior leadership to change the recruitment approach, focusing more on talent and potential rather than rigid standards or prejudices about background. In a short time, Samuel not only restored his career, but also became a symbol of change. He proved that from being fired due to prejudice, he could return and transform the very place that had once held him back into a better environment for everyone. Samuel's app After being developed into an official product at TechSphere Solutions, became a revolutionary tool in the tech industry. Not only did it improve the company's operational performance, but it also supported thousands of ride-hailing drivers around the world, helping them save time, reduce costs, and work more efficiently. The technology Samuel created not only solved practical problems, but also enhanced the experience and quality of life for app users. With his new position in the leadership team at TechSphere Solutions, Samuel earned a stable and deserved income, which helped him overcome the financial burdens that had weighed on him. He was able to pay his father's medical bills and ensure that his father received the best care. At the same time, Samuel also maintained his diabetes treatment, keeping his health in check so he could continue his work and responsibilities to his family. Looking at his family, Samuel felt happy knowing he could provide a full and secure life for his wife and children. He no longer felt the pressure from the uncertain days of the past. Instead, he felt pride knowing that every challenge he had faced had led to the success he enjoyed today. With each step forward, Samuel always remembered his family, the greatest source of motivation that had helped him overcome every obstacle. In addition, Samuel did not forget to use his success to help others. He committed to contributing a portion of the profits from the app to fund supporting the driver community and organizations that assist struggling families. He also regularly participated in speaking engagements, sharing his story to inspire those facing adversity, encouraging them not to give up and always believe in their own abilities. Samuel not only restored his career, but also rose to become a symbol of resilience and determination. His success was not just about creating a revolutionary product in the tech industry. It was also a testament to the inner strength of those who have been underestimated by society. With each step, Samuel not only conquered personal challenges, but also broke down the barriers of prejudice related to skin color and background. Samuel's accomplishments attracted widespread attention, bringing him to the stage of major speaking events, where he shared his story with thousands of people. He spoke about his journey from being an outstanding IT engineer who was fired to the difficult days as a ride-hailing driver, and ultimately how he used his talents to change his own life and the lives of others. Samuel was never hesitant to talk about the prejudices he faced and how he overcame them with perseverance and self-confidence. In particular, Samuel's speeches inspired the Black community, those who still face injustice and prejudice in many fields. He emphasized, "My skin color was once a challenge, but now I see it as strength. It reminds me that to rise up, we must be stronger, work harder, and never give up. I don't just live for myself, but to prove that any one of us can overcome any adversity if we believe in our abilities." Samuel's words were not only motivating, but also a source of hope for many. He called on everyone not to let circumstances define them, but to use their circumstances as motivation to build their future. With each speech, Samuel spread the message that true strength lies in perseverance, creativity, and belief in oneself. Samuel was not only a tech engineer or a leader, but also a living symbol of positive change. He proved that success is not where you start, but how you face challenges and turn them into opportunities. He became a shining example, not only for Black people, but for anyone seeking hope in life. With every story he told, Samuel left a profound message. You don't need the world to allow you to succeed. Step up on your own and show the world that you deserve it. I have witnessed ordinary people facing a life full of challenges rise up and change their lives. One such person is Samuel, a man who, if you look at the surface, seems like an outstanding IT engineer who dedicated 15 years of effort to a leading tech company, TechSphere Solutions. But few know that behind these achievements lies a silent battle that only those like Samuel truly understand. Samuel not only had to face complex problems in his work, but he also had to fight against a persistent prejudice: his skin color. A black engineer in an environment filled with skeptical glances, unspoken questions, and expectations that he had to meet twice as much as others to be seen as capable. But the amazing thing is that Samuel did not let that skepticism define him. He did not complain. He did not give up. He had only one way: to prove himself through action. Samuel's story is a manifesto of resilience. He not only rose from challenges at work, but also overcame himself, facing the physical pain from his diabetes and the financial struggles life unexpectedly threw at him. But no matter what, Samuel never allowed himself to fall into despair. He still got up every day, looked into the mirror, and told himself, "Today is a new opportunity." And in the darkest of times, when life seemed to have knocked him down, a glimmer of light appeared. A new job, a fresh start, but not the final destination. He began working as a ride-hailing driver, a job Samuel never thought he would do, but it became an opportunity for him to keep his family alive, to keep fighting. So what made Samuel overcome it all? It was one value he carried throughout his journey: self-respect. I may lose everything, but I can never lose my self-respect. Those were the words his father taught him, and Samuel followed them every day. Self-respect is not something you can see, but it is what helps us stand tall, no matter how many storms hit us. Only when Samuel hit rock bottom did he realize that the challenges he faced were not his fate, but opportunities to create value for himself and others. The app Samuel developed was not just a useful tool for him, but a turning point in the tech industry. A testament that even in the darkest circumstances, creativity and perseverance can lead to success. That is the message Samuel brings. Never let circumstances decide who you are. Life will always challenge you, but only you can decide if you can rise from the mud. No one can take away your abilities and self-respect unless you let them. And if you can hold on to that, you will find that the challenges life throws at you are the stepping stones for you to rise higher. Samuel's story is not just a lesson in perseverance. It is a reminder that creativity in adversity can change lives, and each of us has the power to make a difference. What you do today, no matter how small, can become something great in the future. If you don't give up, if you don't abandon yourself, then nothing is impossible. So, if you're facing adversity, remember that as long as you keep your head high and continue moving forward, there will always be an opportunity waiting ahead.